So I get a lot of people ask me, how did you get that shot? What camera were you using? What picture profile were you in? What lens were you using? And I also get some people say, James, that was one of the best shots I've ever seen in my life. And when I go back and look at some of these shots, I think the shot itself wasn't actually that good. So when I go back and completely deconstruct some of these shots, I understand that there is one thing that people are massively underestimating. Everyone is so caught up in what equipment they're using, how sharp their lens is, what picture profile they're on, if they've got a drone. People are spending so much time and money on what gear they're using and spending little to no time whatsoever on what is directly in front of them. So there's a lot of videographers around nowadays, and there doesn't seem to be as many directors. To me, a director is more worried about what is in front of the lens rather than what is going on behind it. So if you haven't guessed already, this video is going to be about the power of location. So very soon I'm going to go through a couple of shots that people seem to think are incredible, when really it's not the shot that's incredible, it's actually the location and what is going on in front of the lens, not necessarily what's going on with the camera and the direction of the camera. A completely static frame on a tripod can be an absolutely incredible shot simply because of what's going on inside the frame, the story that's being told inside the frame, the landscape, the location. Now don't get me wrong, how you choose that location, how you compose your frame on that location, and how you physically manipulate the subjects inside of that location is a creative choice. And one choice over the other can take your shot from being a terrible shot to an absolutely incredible shot. And again, that just reinforces how important it is to make sure that you correctly direct what is going on in front of the lens. So let's have a little look at some of my shots and pick out how the location actually lends itself to the story and the shot. And by the way, by no means am I taking away credit from anyone who's done incredible shots in brilliant places in the world. I'm just trying to deconstruct and show you how powerful it is to pick a great location in your films. So first up, I'm going to pick my opening shot of my film from India. So when you look at this shot from India, in terms of the shot, there's not that much going on. All I'm doing is pushing forwards with the camera on a gimbal, and I'm literally just pushing myself through a window. The thing that is incredible about this shot is what's in front of the lens. We've obviously got this frame, which is the window, and we've got a guy on the right hand side. Now as we push through this window, we then obviously reveal this incredible landscape. The location is spot on. If I'd have done that through my bathroom window at home, it wouldn't have looked that good, mate. So when we actually deconstruct the shot, all I'm doing is pushing forwards and a very, very slow tilt downwards. Now, don't get me wrong, that was a creative choice that I chose, which did help improve the shot, but the location for me was what really made that shot and really told the story. We're looking at a guy look over his kingdom, as it were. That's kind of what I wanted to do with this shot and really expose where we are. So the location there for me was spot on. It wasn't really too much about what was going on with the camera. It was simply just a push in and a slight tilt down. Next up is a drone shot that I got with my Mavic Pro in the Italian Alps at a resort called Salsi Do. The drone literally tips up the top of a peak and very, very slowly tilts down as it reaches the very peak of the peak. So as you can see in the shot, all that's going on is the drone is literally lifting up and pushing forward as I tilt the camera downwards. Now for me, this isn't an incredible shot. It's more I picked the location correctly. I made sure throughout that whole entire resort that I found a beautiful peak that had obviously some snow on it, but you could also see them rocks, and there's a lot of layers. There's kind of one layer and then a second layer on the other side. And then as we tip over the top of this peak, it reveals this landscape. And this also reinforces the power of foreground as well, right? So if you're using your location correctly with foreground, in my opinion, you've got a recipe for absolute goodness, mate. Goodness? Success. Let's go with success. So again, the shot itself wasn't that impressive. It could be known as quite an impressive camera move in terms of we're going up, forwards and tilting down at the same time. But I chose what I shot more than the camera movement itself. I decided this is the location that I want to shoot because it looks the nuts. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we've got our drone shot from the Sahara Desert. Now, some people were literally saying this is the best drone shot I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not going to lie, yes, it is an absolutely beautiful drone shot. Now, what is the main reason that this drone shot is a beautiful shot? All we're doing is simply flying the drone forwards. There is absolutely nothing completely groundbreaking about this shot. However, the location is absolutely stunning. I mean, we're in the Sahara Desert, one of the most incredible places in the world, and we are at golden hour. The sun is literally just peaking below that horizon, out miles in the distance, and that location just looks beautiful. But as I say, people, the shot itself wasn't that incredible, but the location was beautiful. That drone shot in my town in Essex where I live would not look that good, mate. That's why that particular shot looked amazing. So next up, we've got the opening shot of the Face of Vietnam video. Now, the shot itself isn't that overly complicated. All we're doing is flying the drone forwards and slowly lifting up the camera. Now, what's incredible about this shot is the incredible location that we're in, which is in Nha Trang on the east coast of Vietnam. And we've got this dude inside his little pontoon boat, which is like telling an incredible story about how fearless, how independent these people are. And that location and what's going on inside the frame is a lot more incredible than the shot itself. So for me, the location there really tells such an impactful story. But of course, I'm not taking away from the operation of the camera. We're obviously pretty low down, close to the sea, and I made sure that I kept my shutter speed at 1/50th with an ND filter so that I could obviously get that motion blur at the bottom of the frame on the sea. This is all a creative choice, but essentially those two things go hand in hand. So our next and final shot that I'm going to talk about is the shot that I done with Kitty in San Francisco. The Golden Gate Bridge is obviously an incredible landmark. Everyone knows about it. It is the most iconic thing about San Francisco and obviously a massive iconic part of the United States. I only ever really wanted to shoot that location at sunset or sunrise because trust me, it will look 10 times better if you shoot it at the start or at the end of the day when that sun is nice and low. The colours look better, the light's a little bit softer, it just looks beautiful. So anyway, let's pick this shot here, which in my opinion is one of my favourite shots that I've ever shot in my life. Now, what is so incredible about this shot? The shot itself isn't that incredible. I'm literally pushing in with the gimbal. There's nothing groundbreaking about that. But the location and what I done in the frame with Kitty was spot on. We've framed the bridge between these two trees and I've made Kitty come out from the left-hand side and reveal herself into the frame. Now, that location was probably one of the most unique locations I've ever seen. If you was there with me and her, as soon as we found these two trees right outside the bridge where there was no one there, we were like just dancing like little kids. It was a bit embarrassing.
Just like, that's it, just walk like in between the trees for me. Ready? Yeah, cool. f***ing hell. Right, let's quickly move these bikes. Walk out into the middle and then like look out as you stand silhouetted in the middle. 3, 2, 1, action. Spot on. Right. Oh, f***. Oh, shit, man. It looks so good, Kitty. Right, yeah. That's it. Hold it there.
But what I'm trying to get at is that location was absolutely perfect. All I then done was created my shot around that location. And as you can see, the actual maneuvering of the shot wasn't that brilliant, but the direction of choosing the location, the right time, and directing what happened in that frame and composing the trees in the way that I did was what essentially made that shot a good shot. It wasn't really anything to do with the camera movement, but the camera movement was, of course, a creative choice in that location. So the two do go hand in hand, but what I really wanted to say with this video was the fact that choose your locations with thought. Don't just think about the camera and what you're going to do with the camera the whole time. Spend lots of time choosing what's going on inside the frame, where you are and what time you're shooting. That location is going to improve your shots tenfold. So people, next time you go out and shoot a video, please spend more time on what's going on in front of the lens rather than your picture profiles and what camera settings you're on and all of that lark, because it really don't matter that much. Focus on directing your video instead of directing your camera settings. Honestly, get the camera settings right and then worry about what's going on in front of the lens. That's where the story is being told. Anyway people, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a little bit of advice here and there. I'm not the best filmmaker in the world, I hold my hands up, trust me. But I do think that this is a massively underestimated element of filmmaking nowadays that people aren't putting enough attention to. So if this video did help you out, please give it a little one of them ones and a little comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.